well, first I'm going to talk to you guys about some ways to edit clips that I haven't really talked to you guys about. Realistically, all I've told you guys to this point, if you haven't already figured out most of it, is how to get clips into a sequence. So it's like, say this was a clip that we wanted to put in. You notice that don't worry about what the visuals are, but let's say I wanted to use this section of it. I mark an in point and an out point using these markers. I'm in the source viewer here, and then I decide that I want to either insert or overwrite what goes into the sequence here. So let's say, for instance, I'm at the end of the sequence and I wanted to overwrite. I add some additional footage to the end of the sequence. Okay, so I have this sequence here, or this clip here, and then this clip next to it that I just inserted. So I've shown you guys how to do that. Now, what to do about when you are in this place where you've got a stack of clips already in your sequence and you want to remove parts of it. So part of that is the first thing that you can do is you can use the mouse itself. So most students end up figuring this part out, where you can kind of, when you move the mouse to the edge of a clip in a sequence, you see that the changes shape. So it's the regular pointer, and then it becomes this kind of bracket with an arrow attached to it. And the arrow points in a certain direction depending on which side of that edit you're on, or which edge of the clip that you're hanging off of. So in this case, we are going to be editing this clip. If the bracket is facing to the left, you're editing the clip that's on the left side. And if you click and drag, you actually are removing frames from the edit. Okay, so that is one way to trim clips. Now, obviously, it leaves you with this black right here that you're like not really interested in. You can do a couple of things. You can obviously select all your stuff and drag it down like that, or you can highlight it. So you see how when you click on that gap between those clips, it highlights it, and then hit the delete, and it will actually shuffle everything over to the left. Okay, so that is that's another way to trim your clips, to shorten them if you need to. All right. Another way is that you can always move. Say I put this clip in and I say, actually, this is where I want the clip to start. And you can, obviously you can use the same tool to trim, and you can drag it this way. The other thing that you could do is you can actually use the razor tool. So in this toolbar right here, remember we are in the workspace, the editing workspace, has a toolbar that's situated down here in the lower left area. And there's a razor blade tool right here, an icon that you can click on, or you can press C on the keyboard. That's the keyboard shortcut. And then come in here, and when you notice that the mouse now will show you this like hollowed out razor blade with a red slash through it, saying that basically you can't use the razor blade tool where it's currently pointed. But as soon as you get it over a clip, you see it snaps into a razor blade icon, and it has a little dotted line next to it. Now that dotted line to the left of it is where the edit is going to be. You can also see it up here, this line right here in the timeline where it is lining up. So you can kind of do that. And when you get close to, if you have this little magnet turned on called snap, you can actually, you'll see that you'll get this little highlight, this little triangle at the top and bottom of the playhead indicator, and that will basically say, okay, at the point where the playhead is where this is going to edit. And when you click, you actually introduce an edit. You only do it on the clip that you select. If you wanted it to be both the video and audio, you want to make sure that you use linked selection. So that needs to be highlighted. And then when you click, you'll see that it actually does both the top and bottom. It does the audio and video together. So you can edit. So that's one epiphany as well, is you don't have to just edit audio and video together all the time. You can choose whether you're just going to do a change to just the video and leaving the audio where it is, or vice versa. You can cut out the audio you don't want. So the idea here of how you trim and how you you introduce edits. Now, at this point, you haven't gotten rid of what you don't want, so you do have to go back, choose the selection tool, either click on it or press the letter V on the keyboard for that shortcut, and then you can select it. So I just come down here, click it once, and then instead of just hitting delete, I'm going to right click or command click on this and come down to where it says ripple delete. Ripple delete, what that does is that actually deletes the clip and pulls all of the clips over to the left to kind of fill in the gap that would have been made. So if you click this, notice that it removes the clip that we created, that edited little bit that we wanted to get rid of, and moved everything over in one move. So you don't have to, so it kind of speeds you up. The idea is to get you to move faster through the edit. The last way to do some of this is using a keyboard shortcut. So let's say I once again, I was like, actually this is where because notice that there's a lot of black here, and I'm like, nah, I want to get rid of all of that boring stuff. I want to have it be just the exciting parts. So now I want to do it again, but this time I don't want to use the razor blade tool. So you have one more way of editing this way, and that is coming up to the edit menu and choosing, come on, Randy. There we go. The sequence menu, my bad. And use add edit, okay? Add edit is also got a keyboard shortcut that I very commonly use called Command K. Command K will basically do the same thing as the razor blade tool. So if I choose Command K, you notice that you get, it creates that edit again, and it does it across the combined clips. And then you select this one more time, you hit ripple delete. I don't think there's a way to do a keyboard shortcut for that. Let me see if there is. Oh, there is. Shift delete. So delete being not the delete that's next to the main part of the keyboard. Let me see if I can pull that up here on the overhead. Oh, I can't. Darn it. But the idea being that there is a key just to the left that looks like a reverse. It looks like a reverse house laying on its side with an X in the middle. So it's kind of this weird backspace, mirrored backspace. But if you hold down Shift and do that, that does the same thing as it does that ripple delete, pulls the clip over pulls everything over to the left while deleting the clip. So those are the ways to edit and trim your video as you're doing this. So hopefully that gets you through that section. Finally, to get your project out of Premiere, to create a video that you actually can then export, you want to use the export section of Premiere. So that is up here, this little tab or kind of words up at the very top. You have the house, import, edit, export. We've been spending most of our time in the edit tab. Now we move to the export tab, and notice that it has a bunch of settings here. Now, usually, I would have you just use match source, adaptive medium bitrate as the preset, okay? So you can choose the preset from this list here and just choose match source, adaptive medium bitrate, and then leave everything else kind of as is. And then you just want to check for two things. Obviously, you want to create the name of your project should go here. So this is, Randy commercial. And then you also want to know exactly where you're saving it. Now, I'm not going to save it to this folder. I'm going to save it in my documents folder that I've got for, let me see if I've got a good place to store this. So where's my media projects? Now, I got a projects folder. I'll put it there. So say I've got a folder here, and then in here I've got Randy Commercial. And then inside there, I'm going to save this off as Randy Commercial. You can put feedback or feedback screener or work in progress or WIP. All of these are kind of useful ways to kind of to kind of label this video as not the final thing. Super important to get that this is not the final finished piece. You are creating a work in progress. So now with that work in progress labeled on there, click save. It's going to update this name and this name and leave the rest of these settings kind of as their defaults. And then click on this blue export button down here at the bottom right. And then it will start exporting. So it is, and it's relatively fast. This one says that it's going to be 3 minutes and change. I will not kind of spend a lot of time with that. But the point is that as soon as the encoding is finished, as soon as this is finished, it's going to leave you a little notification. This little window will go away, and you can then go to the location where you designated it to go. So if I pull up a window here, let me quickly find my projects tab. I'm going to bring that over here. So if I go here and I go to Randy Commercial, you'll see that it's currently creating that video. It is not finished encoding it. Obviously the bar has not filled up, but this is where, once it's done, this is where you're going to find the video that you're going to upload and attach to the feedback screener assignment in Google Classroom. Okay? That is the whole point of today, is to do some editing, whatever editing you need to kind of feel like, okay, this is where we're at. You might be like, oh my God, I have a steaming pile of garbage as my edit, and that's fine because it's a work in progress. It does not need to be perfect. It does not need to be finished. It does not need to sound perfect. It needs to show as much as you can about the commercial that you've done so far, okay? What you have so far. You might have placeholders. You might have missing pieces. That's fine. It might be too long. It might be too short. Wherever you're at is what we want to see. I want to see it at the end of the class period turned in on Google Classroom, okay? So I'm kind of burning through a little bit of vamping to get through this. Okay, so see, it shows that little notification down there at the bottom. Here is my video. If I tap this space bar, it plays the video. Obviously, this is not the, your commercial would be playing here instead, but you get the point, is that it creates the media file. This is how you get the video out of Premiere. The one thing I don't want you to do is save this as, so if I go here to Randy Commercial and I save this as Randy Commercial, the thing that happens most often that I want to avoid is I do not want you to select the PROJ, the PR proj file. That does not export the video. I can't do anything with that project file to export your video, because that is just this file here in Premiere. It is not a video that can be played. It is just the project file that you're using to edit the video. That's the distinction. The only thing you want to do is you want to create a screener, an MP4 file, okay, that is the video that you're going to turn in. Okay, any questions? I can tell you guys are 100% on board. Cool, all right, so that is the end of that. I want you guys to be able to make some progress on this. So.